Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Joseph Parker, Daniel Dubois. Get this. I was looking at this article by Sky Sports Boxing, and it states that Joseph Parker is preferred opponent for Daniel Dubois' IBF World Title defense. Now, to counterpunch this article, I don't know who wrote it. Just says, could this be the first fighter in line to challenge Daniel Dubois for the IBF belt? With the eye emoji, right? So I don't know where it comes from. It's just an article, but it didn't say Daniel necessarily wanted to. I mean, it did say preferred. So I don't really know how that pans out. I don't really know if Daniel wants it, but I can say that Daniel, I believe, is open to fight all of these guys. And I think that's the spirit to have. That's the mindset to have. When you're ready to fight all of these guys, bring them on. You know what I mean? And the thing about Daniel, though, he's not too big. You know what I mean? Like that conglomerate. Oh, I got 100 endorsements type. You know what I mean? Like AJ, like, hey, AJ was taking on people, but AJ was doing it for a reason. You know what I mean? It was like, hey, the WBA over here, the IBF over there. You know what I mean? So it, like, he had this strategic plan in place. Daniel Dubois has the IBF belt, and he wants to hang on to that belt. You know what I mean? He has one belt, and he wants to defend that one belt, and he's been defending that one belt, right? And I think that's his motivation. I don't think it's like this grand scheme, He's mentioned undisputed or whatever, but he knows the belt that he has, and he wants to take it very seriously. So the idea of fighting Joseph Parker, though, it is a good idea. I would love to fight. Joseph deserves the fight. I mean, anybody deserves it. It is Joseph Parker. You know what I'm saying? Because, he's that guy that's won every fight in the last 15 months, and he just kind of disappeared at the end of the year. Like, what's going on with him? Because he's only fought one time this year. You know what I mean? After fighting Wilder, he fought, of course, Zhilei Zhang, and that was a very, very challenging fight, very competitive fight, but he pulled it through with a decision, but then Zhang, it's almost like Zhang got the privileges that Joseph Parker supposed to receive. You know what I mean? It's almost like he won. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, well, Joseph won the fight, but Joseph is not the guy that they're pushing, So that's, I find that kind of strange, especially based on the whole Riyadh, hierarchy, So I think that Joseph needs this shot. If he's going to wait out the remainder of this year without fighting anybody, which is not a good thing either, because, that makes him a bit rusty. And I think he should at least get the fight. You know what I mean? He should get the Daniel Dubois fight, a title fight of some sort, because it's all about fighting for the title. The interim titles are the setup or the promise to get you in line for that fight, right? So it's like you're that next in line. You're that interim. You're that guy. Well, the interim title is for them, the sanctioning bodies, to get rich, off the fighter. But, it is also for the fighter. It benefits them because they get the opportunity to fight. In his case, it's the WBO. But if he gets a crack at the IBF, who cares? You know what I mean? Because he's been the WBO champion before, so him fighting for the IBF, I think to Joseph Parker, that's a bonus because he becomes a champion once again, a two-time champion. So fighting Andy Ruiz, beating Andy Ruiz, losing it to AJ, then getting it back possibly from losing to Dillian White, but then getting it back possibly from who? Daniel Dubois. So, that would be a great accomplishment in the career of boxing for Joseph Parker. So I think he deserves it. I would like him to fight again, though, because I think he's rusty. I think he can become rusty. I've heard Joseph Parker talk about him gaining weight, and he likes the idea of gaining weight, and I don't. because I seen, I seen Kiwis, Polynesian fighters. I've seen them gain weight, and it didn't really help them. David Tua didn't help him. He thought he was stronger, but no, it just made him slower and fat. With Joseph Parker, his whole thing was he's able to move. He was fast. He was quick. He was agile. So he was able to get around the ring. He was able to do stuff, and if he gets bigger, that doesn't necessarily make him a bigger puncher. It just makes him more heavier, which takes away his advantage. So I would like to see him in the fight, but the problem, I think, if he took a fight now, will he be ready for February? So I think he has to wait out if he's going to be possibly the next candidate, to get the opportunity. So yeah, he ain't been fighting. He hasn't fought since when? The Ngannou Joshua fight. When was that? March? You know what I'm saying? So that's a long time. So, that's a while, right? So we're looking at February. So 11-month layoff, you know what I mean? But he does deserve that fight nonetheless. You guys tell me what you think about this particular article with no origin. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.